The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have had a stranglehold on the NFC South for the past 4 years and are looking to win the division for a fifth consecutive year in 2025. In consistently taking first place in the division, they have had automatic bids into the postseason. While they have not been able to make a deep run since the departure of Tom Brady, they will be looking to achieve this feat this coming season. Today we will break down how the 2024 season played out for them, the key additions they made to their offense and defense during the offseason, and finally projecting how they will fare in the 2025 season. Buccaneers entered the 2024 season with high hopes coming off of an appearance in the divisional round of the playoffs. They ran it back with mostly the same team as their 2023 roster, and many believe that they could make another Cinderella run in 2024. They kicked off their regular season with a 2-game winning streak with impressive wins over the Washington Commanders and Detroit Lions. However, they began to lose their momentum a bit after coming out of the gates hot, going 2-2 over their next 2 games. Things went from bad to worse for Tampa Bay as they dropped their next 4 straight games heading into the bye week. However, following their bye, they looked like a completely different team, losing just 1 of their remaining 7 games to close out their regular season. The Bucs were red hot heading into the postseason, clinching the first seed in the NFC South and in turn the 3rd seed in the playoffs. In the wild card round, they matched up against the Washington Commanders. Things were neck and neck in the first half, with the game being knotted at 10 each as the teams headed into the locker room. It remained a back-and-forth game up until the final seconds. It appeared that there was a chance the contest was going to go to overtime. However, as time expired, Zane Gonzalez nailed a 37-yard field goal to put an end to the Buccaneers' 2024 campaign. While they did not make the divisional round, they did the year prior. This was still a very successful year for Tampa Bay. They suffered losses of both their star wide receivers Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, who missed a collective 13 games on the year, greatly hindering the passing offense, which was the team's greatest strength. Along with this, the Commanders went on to be the Cinderella team of the 2024 playoffs, going to the NFC Championship and almost upsetting the Detroit Lions there. Throughout the season, it was clear that the offseason was the heart and soul of this Tampa Bay team, ranking 4th in points. Their passing offense was elite, ranking 3rd in yards and 2nd in touchdowns. But this is not to take away from their rushing offense, with the duo of Rachaad White and Bucky Irvin performing very well, ranking 4th in yards and 14th in touchdowns. On the defensive side of the ball, some of the team's weak spots began to be exposed. They were average in points allowed, ranking 16th. However, they had a horrid pass defense, allowing the 4th most yards and 14th most passing touchdowns. They fared much better against the run, ranking 4th in yards allowed and 10th in rushing touchdowns allowed. While this was still a very solid season from Tampa Bay, it was clear that they had some glaring areas of need to address in the offseason. Free agency, Tampa Bay was not the most aggressive on the offensive side of the ball, and honestly, that is not a bad thing. They were able to resign Godwin to a 3-year deal, which was a bit of a risky move when taking into account just how serious the injury he suffered in the 2024 season was. There's no telling if he will come back with the same breakaway speed that made him elite. As a bit of insurance against this, Tampa Bay used his 1st-round pick to select Emeka Egbuka out of Ohio State. The Bucs were also able to re-sign left guard Ben Bredeson to a 3-year deal as well. While they were able to keep Bredeson on board, they did lose center Robert Hainsey to the Jacksonville Jaguars. While their offensive line may lack some depth, they were able to retain almost the entirety of their key pieces. The addition of Egbuka could wind up making a huge difference, as he is a player who will be able to make considerable contributions early on his rookie year. This will be extremely useful for the Bucs' passing offense if Godwin does not come back 100% or age begins to catch up to Mike Evans. Expect Tampa Bay to still have a very strong offensive unit in 2025 that they will be dependent on week in and week out to pull the team's weight. Defensive side of the ball, they were able to retain interior linebacker Levante David, signing him to a 1-year deal. At outside linebacker, they brought back Anthony Nelson on a 2-year deal. Tampa Bay was able to land another outside linebacker in Hassan Reddick. Finally, they signed defensive tackle Greg Gaines on a 1-year deal. Being able to retain veteran leadership like David, who was even around for the team's run to the Super Bowl. They used the draft to attempt to beef up their secondary. In the 2nd round, they selected cornerback Benjamin Morrison from Notre Dame. They followed this up with the selection of another corner in round 3, Jacob Parrish from Kansas State. Finally, in the 4th and 5th rounds, they targeted edge rushers drafting David Walker from Central Arkansas and Elijah Roberts from SMU. It was clear that the Bucs needed to address this lack of pass defense they had in the 2024 season. This is exactly what they did through the draft. The downside of this is that they will be relying heavily on rookie talent to adjust to the game at the professional level quickly and immediately make an impact. However, if they are able to do this, the fresh talent could lead the Bucs to truly turn the corner in 2025. Currently, the Bucs have the 15th most cap space and effective cap space in the league according to Over the Cap, with $26,073,388 for each. This means that if they are primed for another playoff run, they would have the flexibility to bring in some veteran talent to add to their depth before the playoffs kick in. Schedule makers paired with being in the NFC South did the Buccaneers some favors when it comes to their 2025 schedule. They have the 14th easiest schedule and would have 5 games in which they take on teams who make the postseason in 2024. Those teams being the Houston Texans, Philadelphia Eagles, Detroit Lions, Buffalo Bills, and Los Angeles Rams. With this favorable schedule paired with their division, barring any major injuries, there should not be anything standing in the way of Tampa Bay and a 5th straight NFC South title. The Bucs will still feature a high-powered passing game with Baker Mayfield coming off of the best year of his career. While there are some major injury concerns with Chris Godwin, the addition of Emeka Egbuka should be more than enough to fill any gaps in the wide receiver core. Along with this, with Bucky Irvin having his rookie year under his belt, there is a chance that he completely breaks out with him having a better feel for the game and likely getting many more touches than in 2024. On the offensive side of the ball, there are major concerns for the Buccaneers coming into the 2025 season. However, on the defensive side of the ball, there's a little cause for concern. Their rush defense should only improve with the addition of 2 defensive ends in the draft, along with not losing much talent. The obvious weakest point of the team in 2024 was their pass defense. However, the front office did an incredible job of addressing the holes in their secondary with the addition of some veteran linebackers and rookie cornerbacks. While there's a bit of a risk that comes with trusting rookies with such a major role, if they are able to adjust well and immediately contribute, this could be a huge turnaround for Tampa Bay's ability to defend the pass. All in all, the Bucs are a very talented team who are almost guaranteed a spot in the playoffs, and there is not much competition in their division. However, if they are able to follow through and make the playoffs, we predict they will be a 1st or 2nd round exit, still not quite talented enough to be true title contenders.